Alright guys, looks like summer's over and we're back, and it's good to be back. To start the year off right, I want to look at the syllabus. It's going to be attached in your Google Classroom. Take a look at it. I'll go over everything. This is your one and only time you'll have to do that. Make sure you understand all the points about, behavior, academic dishonesty, what the expectations are. So then what I'm going to have you do after that is a couple of warm-up exercises. These center around line, which is going to be mostly line. You can color it in if you want to as well, but they're really useful for getting back into the swing, shaking off all the rust, and you might have cobwebs in your art part of your brain right now, and this will get rid of that, and it'll get you right back on the saddle, as they say. So there's going to be 2 of these, which I'll show, and then I'm going to ask you to do an observational drawing. And it's going to seem slightly tough at first, but just bear with it. Try it a couple times if you have to. Do whatever it takes. And make sure you're getting out of it what I want you to. I'll explain it to you, and make sure you're doing what, don't just kind of throw it out there. Really try. I believe you're going to be sincere. If you want to grow, you'll have to be. Okay? And then I want to talk about this right now is art kits. If you're watching this at home, I'm going to be getting some materials to you. So what it's going to be is probably what you need for the next 2 or 3 projects that we do. Things change, so if you don't have everything you need, please communicate with me. All you have to do is write me. I'll do whatever I can to get you what you need. Alright guys, so find yourself 3 pieces of plain white paper. I'm going to ask you to put a 1/2-inch border on all 3 of them. So how do I do it? Grab your ruler, you'll need it, and make a mark at 1/2 inch from the edge of the paper all the way around. I'll show you how to do it. Be careful. Don't draw anything too dark right now. Probably want to erase that later. Again, and then just continue. All 3 pieces. So you'll know I want you to do 3 drawings. You have plenty of time. Sometimes the first time you try something, it doesn't work out too good. That's okay. But that's an investment. You learned how not to do it, or whatever, or you just kind of like warming up. Like, no, that one's no good. Let me start all over again. You can flip the paper over or get another piece of paper. See, this is forming like a square right here, so I know it's right. There we go. All right. So you'll do all 3, so times 3. Let's do the first one. On this one, I want you to, I don't care which way you put the paper. Let's put it this way. I'm going to go this way. You could do whatever you want. But I'm going to make like a curvy line, kind of like a roller coaster. And then I'm going to make 8 points on it. This should be about 2 inches apart. Again, nothing too dark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Seem pretty good. If you have 9, that's nothing wrong with that. It's not about the number, it's just about breaking up the space. So from there, I'm going to do every other one. I'll start with this one, and I'm going to make like a little hill, not too high, and then I'm going to make another hill on top of that. It's like a stack of Pringles. You're going to find right away that you have to concentrate. You have to watch your pencil. You have to move your hand. I'm letting my hand rest on the paper. That's what's keeping it steady. I can go pretty fast, but I'm more worried about having it look good. And I don't want anybody just slopping in anything or just doing it just for the sake of getting it done. You want to make a nice work of art, even if it's just an exercise. Always strive to do your best. So I'm going to skip that one, and I'm going to go to this one. It's like if you're doing an exercise, if you're in the gym and you only lift 3-pound dumbbells, Yeah, it'll be easy. I hope that's not your max weight. If I'm making fun of you. Yeah, it'll be easy, but you're not going to get any stronger. You ever go to the gym and kind of just fake your way through that time? Kind of pretend like you're doing something? We're not going to do that. I kind of ran out on that one. It's starting to look like bugles or a cornucopia or something like that, if you know what I'm talking about. So I want to see if I can get the next one to go all the way to the top. I'm going to go back over this in pen. So you might have done this before. The reason why I chose this is because it's going to help you get back into it. Notice how I keep turning the paper. I don't know if you'll like this one better or the next one better. I like this one pretty well, but I think I like the next one even better. I want to make this one start going this way. Stop. Keep going. I'm going to flip it and do the ones in between. One more. All right. Grab a pen. This is a water fast pen, meaning if I get it wet, it's not going to bleed on me. I'm going to grab a scrap paper and just like test the line, how thick or thin. That's not bad. Do I like this? I like the first one better for this. So I'm going to go ahead and notice how I'm changing my posture so I can be more stable. The closer I have my hands together to each other, the less shaky my hand will be, believe it or not. So I guess I like these lines. If I see one that's bad, I won't draw over it. I'll change it. think that's it. Let's let this one sit. This is the one I just finished. It's like an organic look. It's curvilinear lines stacked, and I'm cleaning it up. I might color this in. We'll see. See how the other ones turn out. This next one's kind of like the opposite, except they both use line, but this one's more geometric, and you know, it's just a straight line. So I'm going to break the space up into like little subdivisions. They're going to be either parallelograms or triangles. So I'll start with a triangle here on the corner. You can just do exactly what I do. So I'm going to keep making it collapse upon itself. So I'm going to shoot across to the other side, but I'm going to just miss the corner towards the inside. So going like this, and then like this. It's like, how do you draw a straight line without a ruler? You just let your hand rest on the paper. Look at where you're going, and then just let your hand go there. That's what this is for. So if you don't do it perfectly, that's normal. But by the time you get this done, you'll be a lot better. That's what it is. Like, some people get jammed up in the thought like everything they do has to be so nice. Yeah, you try to make it as nice as you can, but it's about experience. Like, I'm not afraid to do anything. I've tried it, and I know I can do. So maybe I practice, make a few flops, and then do a good one. So I'm going to make another one. We're going to get what is the term we get is called a gestalt, where you put parts together and they make something more than just what the parts were. I'm pretty sure I'm using that term correctly. I know I am. I know there's another way to use it, but you can see that, look, I had two shapes next to each other, but now they're creating something else. And as I fill the whole entire thing, the whole field is going to be looking like it's alive in a way. There'll be action, dynamism, just from straight lines. I've seen people do this, and they like do it on their whole bedroom wall. It's nice. It's a two-dimensional design, but it gives the illusion of 3 dimensions. And when you add color, I have one here that a student did a while ago. I'll show you. This is pretty cool. It's the same thing he did with a Sharpie and crayon. And he was looking at warm and cool colors and putting them next to each other. And it gets a pretty nice looking work of art. I'll keep going. I could make them all the same size, but it feels like if I vary the size, it makes it that much more interesting. And on this one, I'm just doing triangles. You could do, like I said, parallelograms. Maybe I'll do a couple of those just to see what happens. You could do squares, but it's looks too uniform. It's somewhat boring. Kind of forces you to concentrate a little bit too. So we're all kind of just vegged out right now. Our brain's on cruise control. You have to focus. And again, that's why I chose these jobs. Planning out ahead of time. So yeah, you can draw a straight line. Okay, I got two. That's the one I did in pencil. I found it easier to just go straight to pen than trying to go back over my old pencil lines. So you might want to do that once you get the hang of it. Just go right to pen. If all you can do is do a pencil, that's fine. Okay, last leg of the stool, last job we have to do here. This is the observational drawing. It's nothing like that. This is about you understanding spatial relationships. It means spatial with a T. S-P-A-T-I-A-L. Spatial, not special. It just means space, having to do with space. How far or close something is related to something else. Juxtaposition is the word for spatial relationship in relation to something else. So if you're taking your dog for a walk, the spatial relationship between your dog and a fire hydrant may be very, very close when you walk your dog. And then when you get home, it's very far away. It's not close to it anymore. These are the kind of relationships we work with in art. Sometimes it's by accident, sometimes it's on purpose. I'm going to pick probably like, maybe like 1 to 3 objects. So we're going to do this. So pick an object like this from your house or from my material box and set it out in front of you. I'm going to set it down, and for this I'm going to sit because this is going to take a while. Which one is this? This is Sonic, right? Yeah, that's right. This is Sonic, regular Sonic. And I'm going to situate him in a way that looks interesting. It should be appealing to me. Look cool, you know, so to say. And we don't want him to fall. I'm not going to touch it. I don't want him to fall, so I'm gonna tape his foot down. He's like off balance, but when I go to draw it, I won't draw the tape. You can see through things when you're an artist. You know, you don't have to draw exactly what you see, or you can visualize what's on the other side. So this is pretty easy. I'm going to measure it. Oh, you can see it. This isn't cheating. This is what's done. You know, this has been done in art academies since they had art academies. It's 8.5 inches tall from foot to top of the ear. So this is what I'm putting on my paper. I don't want it to be too close to the edge here or here. So if this is the bottom, that was where his foot was, this is 8.5. I can look at the space. I'll move it up a little bit. Kind of trying to evenly space it. So remember, he was 8.5. So if I go from 8.5 to 0, I know that's where the top of his head is going to be. That's where the bottom of his feet are going to be, pretty much. All right. So now I want to find the middle. What's half of 8.5? 4.25, right? Okay. It's about, on Sonic, it's about the middle of his stomach. I'll make a mark there too. It's going to help guide me. Like when you're drawing something, you're not always going to be able to draw it the exact size it is. Sometimes you have to draw it smaller. Sometimes you have to draw it on the side of a building. Doesn't matter. This will help you reach, you know, the point where you can do it any size. His overall width is 5.5 from one hand to the other hand. So that's going to help me too. And I don't have to stick to it perfectly strictly, but that's really going to help me get this drawing in. And I'm going to start from the middle. I'm looking at him and I'm holding my pencil out like this, and I'm going to put my thumb where I think how big his stomach is. So small. On Sonic, his torso is smaller than like his eye. It's so small. But it's a cartoon. It's that big, like right there. So see how I measured that? That's about how big his whole abdomen is. Okay? I can keep measuring the foot. I'm holding my arm straight out. I'm using my drawing tool, closing one eye, and I'll bring that measurement down. That's how wide the foot is. But I'm talking about a spatial relationship, so the heel cuts right through the middle if I had an invisible line. So that's the middle. Find this. There. That's where the edge of his foot is. I'm making these little landmarks. That's about where his, and look, it's so nice. I did it. I'm looking at what I'm drawing a lot more than when I'm looking at my paper. I'm not looking at the paper very much. And then to get an angle, like I want to see which way his leg goes, I hold my pencil out to the leg and I just keep that angle and I put it right down to the paper, right there. And draw it as a stick first and then put some width to it. That's one leg. Now the other one. I'm trying to find where this other foot comes out. There's some foreshortening going on. It's like going towards me and away from me this way. So it makes it a little tougher to draw. But I know this foot is lower than this one. It's actually coming down to like right here. I can see the negative space. There's not much space between the two. I'll show you on a picture what that is. All right. And again, I'm having to kind of see through it, even though I can't. It's not clear. It's not like glass where I could see the back of it. But I know this sock is a little lower than this sock because it's closer to me. Things that are closer to you will be lower on the picture. And that's close. See that? I've drawn that too high. I'm making a correction. Something like this, more like this. I'll come back to that. It's a good idea to get a lot in as close as you can right off the bat and then go back and make corrections. His whole entire hand is covering this. What I meant to say was his hand is covering the entire front of his sock for me. There's that. See, I'm trying to be quick and decisive and let the instincts of my brain take over. You start doubting yourself just like in life. It doesn't help, you just kind of freeze. So, say a lot. It's like, be careful how you talk to yourself. Don't speak negatively to yourself or about yourself. Just continue to try. Take breaks if you get overwhelmed, and then keep trying again. You will do it. Okay, there we go. Just don't waste time. You never get it back. I say keep trying, I mean keep trying, Let's see, not sit around and hope it's going to happen. Let's see, there we go. It's close. I'm really helping myself by looking at the space in between. I was like, how much space is there between this leg and this hand? It's not very perfect right now, but I got it in the right place. People want to dive into detail early, right away, because it's fun, but they're put detail on something that's in the wrong place, and they're like, why doesn't my drawing not look right? I spent all that time, and now I see that it doesn't look right. I'm trying to help you break that. Let's see. So the whole entire head, the head is the emphasis. I know it comes all the way up to here, but some of it's going back away from me. I'll do another measurement to help myself. Hold my arm straight out as far as I can. I'll slide my thumb to the bottom of his mouth, to the top of his head, and it's that big. Oh wow, look. I said it was that big, and look where it came out to be, right where my original mark was. I'm proud of myself all of a sudden. There we go. I'm just going to guess on these right now. The eyes. There's ear. Space. Another ear right above the eye. Looking at the angle. So hold the pencil out to the angle. Bring it down to your paper. That's the angle of the bottom of his ear. It's no rocket science or mystery. It's an angle, and you get that angle right here by going like that. And it's staying constant. This is one of the easy things. Thank goodness there are some easy things, right? Pretty soon you can do it without doing that stuff because you can just see it. But I'm pointing out to you what goes into my mind and other people's minds that do this kind of stuff when they're doing it. I think, oh look, the negative space. Let me use that to help myself get the drawing right. Oh, the angle. They can just see it. They can remember it from what they see, and they put it down because they know. Okay, so will you. So that's like my loose drawing. His mouth's over here. I can't even see it. Let's see. That's there. That's there. This goes up for me and around. His mouth's like over here. It looks pretty right. Trust what's out in front of you. That's why I said look at the paper more, because you'll start to draw what you think is there, or what your brain kind of remembers was there when you watched the cartoon or whatever, and you'll make something up to fill in the gaps. But this is why we do this observational drawing, gets you there to strengthen that. It's called an archetype. When someone says draw an apple, you probably can do it. You know, you draw something like this and then the stem and it goes up like this. They say draw a heart, you can probably do this because you have an archetype. If you draw a lot of apples or hearts, like a real heart, like a biological heart, drawing it, you can draw more detail. All right, let's see. That needs to be fixed. Up. Don't be afraid to make changes. Why in the world would you ever draw over and over again on something that's wrong, hoping it's going to get right by fixing something else? It won't. Change it. Well, but I just spent 5 minutes drawing that hand. Well, it's still wrong. So spend 5 more minutes drawing it again. Remember what you did wrong. Okay, there we go. It's kicking out. It's doing pretty good. This is what's called a closed composition. Everything in the work of art, or whatever you want to call it, the picture plane, the image area, it's all inside the image. A lot of paintings you see, pictures you see, are open compositions where things go off the page. So if there's like a bush next to Sonic here, the bush, some of it, I kind of like that. He's on a path because he likes to run. He's going for a run in the park. He's on in the park on a path. Here's grass. There's like a swing back here. Some of the swing is going off of the page because there's not enough room to fit it on there. That's called an open composition. A couple more trees way in the back. See the difference? Okay, if I wouldn't have drawn any of that other stuff. Closed composition versus open composition. It's fun to create a background or create a setting. You can do it if you want. this was a mistake. This comes all the way up, and then there's a space here. And the arm's actually coming out like here. How did I do that? And that's not coming down that far. That's there. That's why I said draw the whole thing. Yeah, see, that's better. Draw the whole thing and loosely, and then you can change. If I'm doing this like for a job, like for maybe I'm doing an ad or some like a poster or some type of job that I have to do an illustration for. You know, this Sonic could be on a commercial for like Skechers or like some kind of shoes or something like that because he runs so fast. You know, this would be the next Nike commercial. And he's going to wear, you know, Nikes, like Nikes. Even if Sonic wears them, they don't wear out, you know, whatever you do. If I'm drawing this, I'll draw this whole thing rough and loose like this, and then I'll probably take vellum or tracing paper and trace over only the good parts, or I'll take a light box and trace over only the good parts, and I'll throw this sloppy copy away. Better yet, I'll probably just scan it into the computer, my drawing, and then work on it from there. But I always stick with pencil drawings because they just work better than anything else. It's nothing like a pencil. I don't care how nice your graphics tablet is or whatever you have. Man, a pencil can't be beat. Some would argue with me, but we could both be right. It's nice to draw like right on your computer because then you don't have to scan, you know, you save yourself that work. And you can get really good with you know, with your iPad or your Wacom tablet or whatever you have, if you have it. I'm drawing right over my old drawing. Maybe I should make it Adidas. Now I feel happy, you know, I can draw all the details on top of my light underdrawing, and I know that I have it right. So I don't have to worry as much anymore, and I can just have fun with it. And nobody's going to look at this. They're only going to see this. So if it's not exactly the same, that's, you know, this is the part where you take over. I want to round that a little better. Clean it up as I go. I feel like I drew this foot wrong. It's kind of coming out more this way. Foreshortening is not the easiest thing to learn. You just really have to have faith in what you see out there. You're going to tell yourself, oh, that's a foot. I guess it goes this way, but it's coming this way. I moved a little bit since I took my break, which isn't that great. That's why I said in the beginning, you know, put it out in front of you and don't move it. But I moved my own body, so I'm trying to find, I'm using my drawing to find where I was. I'm pretty close. But it's about your perspective, you know, and where your eye is, that determines what the drawing looks like. If I put my face way down here, it's going to change everything entirely. But even if I just move over a little bit, it changes it. You'll see what I mean. But I'm going to finish this up, and I'm going over it. I'm making some corrections. I could spend a really long time doing this, and you should. but I think, you know, when you get to a certain point, let's start doing some shading. You get to a certain point, it looks pretty good, clean it up. If it looks accurate and it's nice and neat, you know, what's the rubric here? One to three objects. I want you to do a 1-to-1 drawing, meaning the actual size of the object. You remember how I measured it? All right, so it should fill the paper. So that's what I'll be looking for. At least one object, fill the paper. Meaning the drawing's the right size for the paper. You haven't just drawn a little thing down here in the corner and then say that's it and I'm done. That's part of the challenge, okay? I want to see evidence of your work. Meaning, like, I could see that you developed a drawing from a light under drawing and then you cleaned it up. If you just have like a drawing, you can tell that you haven't made any changes and you kind of just drew it outright and just one time and that's all you did. It's really easy to see. In this drawing you can see that I've moved the hand, and it's, you know, even though I'm cleaning it up, I want to make it look really nice. I can tell the difference between a drawing that's been worked and adjusted and someone's gone through all of the trouble of getting it right versus somebody who just kind of just drew it just to have it done. So I'm looking for like a light under drawing with a better drawing on top of it. So evidence of work and rework as needed. That's 1, 2, 3, and then I guess the fourth thing is, I'm just going to say accuracy. If you did the measuring and you did the comparative measuring, if, like, I was saying the body is, the stomach is about as big as, you know, this part of his shoe, and I looked at the negative space and all that stuff that I talked about. You'll have accuracy, okay? The measuring, the negative space, comparing, the angles, you'll have it. So if I give you 25 points each for each of those, that's 100%, which is what you should get, okay? And we're going to go back to these other drawings, but I want to do a little bit more on this, clean it up, and I'm going to do a little bit of shading, like adding a little value, a little bit of light or dark where I need. But I'm not gonna video that, you know, because I don't want to keep you on too long. All right, but I will do it and then probably show it to you. Okay.
just keep going for a really long time on this, but I don't want you to have to go through all that. Let's get an accurate drawing and hit these points that I talked about. Okay. At least one object. Fill the paper. Show me your rework. Show me your accuracy.
Here's my last thing I want to show. I'm taking my favorite one from earlier. Since I shaded this in, it kind of makes it so I can't color it in, but I'm okay with that. If you wanted to do this in color, you could. But I just wasn't happy with it as a line drawing. It's really just a quick job. It seems like it was a lot of work, but it was just, you know, just a practice. So I'm going to take this. I'm done with this. I'm taking this one, which is the one I like more out of these two. This one's just driving my eyes crazy. And I'm going to go after it with my watercolors. If you don't have a watercolor kit yet, you will. You can do this part as a bonus or for fun or just to improve your overall grade on this one. It's going to help it. I'm thinking of a color scheme. I want to think of something that has like some unity to it. So I'm going to do like yellow, greens, and like aqua kind of a color. Let's get some yellow. Did you know that this part of your watercolor kit is for mixing? I don't want to just use pure yellow. I'm not really crazy about it, so I got some clean water and a paper towel over here, like the tiniest drop of blue. There was already some blue in there on the tray. Nobody ever cleans anything, do they? You'll be different. You'll clean. Alright, so I'm going to go right onto this this paper. Even though it's dry, sometimes when you do a watercolor, you will wet it first if you want to get a blend, but I want to get like a hard edge. I'm going to just paint fast so I don't get like an overlap. Just flood the area. Remember, if you want a soft on watercolor, you want to paint on wet. If you want a hard edge, you want to paint on dry. It's pretty good. It's nice. I'll probably do a couple of these with this green. I can always add more color on top. Do like a blend or a fade. An ombre. I feel like my pen isn't really water fast. I'm getting some black into it. Doesn't look that bad, but I really didn't pick the right pen for the job apparently. The Sharpie pen won't do that. I switched pens because I didn't really like that Sharpie all that much. It cost me. I'm going to change color a little. Trying to get like a teal. The taping it down to a piece of cardboard keeps the paper from wrinkling. And paint whatever you feel like, wherever these shapes should divide. If you get too much paint, just dry off your brush on the paper towel and you can just mop it up. Don't leave puddles. I'll do a couple more of these this color. Even if I get paint where I don't want it while it's still wet, see that? I can just soak it right off. Most of it will come off. There's nothing holding that paint on the paper except the paper. I can even like erase clean water. Blot it. Paper towel mostly off. Let's see, where should I go now? One more color that is analogous, meaning like these other colors, and then I'm going to do like a contrasting color. That looks okay. Whoops. You'll be more careful than me, I hope. I can really take this far if I want to start shading the forms. See, like I put some more paint there on the sides, let the middle stay lighter. I'm going to be patient. I don't want to try to do it all in one. I can let it dry and then keep building color on top. This will really get you far with controlling your paint with your brush. Look, I can paint that line pretty nice and quick. Go as slow as you have to. You'll get faster automatically. You be patient and just calm. It seems so pale. A lot of high school art students, they never really get in tune with color. They do a lot of pencil drawings. Sometimes they won't even move off of that. They won't even go to a pen. I've seen a lot of young people, like when I was growing up, who were, wanting to be artists or really like drawing in school, and all they ever did was pencil drawings, probably because it's easier. And you always have a pencil, in biology or wherever you're supposed to be taking notes, and you could draw. You would have a pencil. It's kind of hard to have like watercolors in the middle of biology. Don't ever do that, but you know what I mean. I'm going to do a little more of these cool colors. I'm going to get some blue involved. But to keep it harmonious with these other ones, before I go to contrast, I'm still adding a little bit of green. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Little blot. I'm saving some for my, like I'm gonna like use an orange or something like that. Yeah, I'm digging it. I really like the way this looks. I'm kind of afraid I'm going to ruin it on the next step, but I'm going to take a chance. When I'm done here, I'm going to rinse this whole watercolor kit out. Oh, that's too close to that. I'll add a little more blue. A little more water. Yeah, it's better. Bluer. See what I'm doing? I'll dry my brush. I got a little too much paint. That'll just pick that right back up like a mop. I didn't mean to go into this area, so I'm going to pull that out with a wet brush. So you just pulled it right out. I had to clean out the brush first. The water will move to the driest place, so if you bring a dry brush over, it'll pull it out. Let's see, this part I'm going to leave that to be orange.